Good morning, yogis. Welcome to an online practice where we'll be focusing on back bending. So hopefully you have 2 blocks, a strap, and then maybe a yoga blanket or a towel, or even a bolster if you should have one, rolled up like so, like you can see over on my mat. All right, so that's what we'll need, and we'll get right to the practice so that we don't waste any time, and I could talk about the body mechanics involved in back bending as we come into Shavasana. So don't use your towel yet, like we did on Thursday. Just come into your Shavasana. And take a moment to just settle in to your body. Allow your breath to slow and deepen. And then using your breath to connect with your physical body and notice the places that touch the mat. Feel your heels, maybe the backs of your legs and your hips, maybe your thoracic spine, maybe shoulders and back of your head. And breathe into those points of connection. And then notice or feel your natural curves. So your cervical spine, the curve behind your neck, the lumbar spine, that curve in your low back. And the reason I want to point that out is that we can be aware they're the bendiest parts of our body naturally, of our spine, and we often will borrow movement in our back bends from those areas. And so I want you to be cautious of those, not to overdo. And in the way that we protect ourselves, or those 2 areas in our back bends, is that we really engage the legs. We bring more engagement to the quads. We even sort of draw your inner thighs toward each other. And we'll do some poses to strengthen them. And then we get a stretch of the front body, through our psoas, but supported by a strong core and a strong back body, like toned hamstrings, tightened glutes. And then, of course, because some of the back bends have handholds, we open the shoulders, we get a little more of a stretch across the front of our chest. So in this practice, we will start to build our back bends from a bridge all the way up to upward facing bow. We will do some strengthening of the legs and the core to bring awareness to the areas that we need to support a healthy back bend. That is one that moves in a gentle arch over the whole spine rather than from those 2 points that are the most able to bend. So let's start that by bringing our towel or bolster or makeshift bolster under our back, perpendicular to our mat, so that it comes underneath our shoulder blades. And then you can bring your arms out like a T so that your arms are above the roll. And breathe here into that bolster. So you're getting some feedback from the resistance of the bolster. And maybe even opening up a little bit more in your thoracic spine. It's an area that isn't as flexible as the first 2 that I mentioned. It gets tight from all of our life's doings, like we're always reaching forward with our arms. We're doing things in life. We're grasping, we're creating in the world. And then also, we might have poor postural habits, slouching, or working on our computer and on our devices, so it causes us to round the spine, roll the shoulders forward, and could really even exacerbate this tightness. So take a big inhale and exhale it out and breathe into this area. Allow it to be a little soft. So this is our first back bend. Notice how it feels for you. You know, reduce the roll if it's too much. If it feels good, then maybe it's something you'd like to add to maybe the end of your day as a supportive heart opener. So take one more breath here. Exhale fully, and then lift up so that we can move that prop out of the way. Put it to the side of your mat. We'll use it towards the end. And then come onto your back again, but this time bend your knees and prepare for some bridging work. Now for the first round, if you choose, you can put a block between your inner thighs if you want. It helps you to engage the legs and even keep them neutral, if not slightly inner thighs rolling in. So that it's really important to keep the legs neutral and back bend so that we don't, compress the sacral area, hyperextend the back. So find that position. Your feet are grounded, legs are strong, and let's press our feet into the earth and start to lift the hips, lift the mid back, the upper back, send your arms up and overhead into this supported bridge pose, and then exhale, lower down. So make it a vinyasa, just raising and lowering. Each time you might go up a little higher, right? And as you're going up, make sure again, you're grounding your legs, drawing inner thighs toward each other, lengthening through the lower spine. So your pelvis and your tailbone are going forward so that we're not back bending in the low back, it's coming from the upper back. And one more time. And maybe each time here you're getting a little higher. Maybe you can hold this last time up towards the sky. Good. Nice, I have a helper now, which is good. And then lower down. Good. Now, if you have a prop, you might be able to leave it, but we're going to come into a single leg bridge. So this time, bring your arms by your sides, palms down, so that you can use your arms to help you lift. The backs of your shoulders want to stay down. Lift your one foot, doesn't matter. I'm going to do the left just so you can see that I'm lifting it really only an inch off the floor, almost like I just stepped up. And then keep it lifted as you rise up into the bridge. Again, lengthening from the tailbone to the knees, and try to, lift as high as you can. Feel this lift in the upper back, but your foot is just hovering over the earth. And then lower the back down, lower your foot for a moment. We'll do that one more time on that side. So pick up that first foot, I'm doing my left, and then I'm lifting up again. Good. So feel that you're really using the quads. You're getting a stretch in the psoas, this muscle in the front of the hip, and then slowly lower down, lower the foot, and then we'll do the other side. So when you're ready, pick up your opposite foot, just an inch over the earth, like it's almost invisible that you're lifting the leg, and then lift your torso. Use the hands. And the psoas muscle, oops, look at this, I'm getting actually it's a little weight bearing when your cat sits on you when you're in bridge. So I'm bearing some extra weight. And then lower your hips and lower the foot. And one more time, so lifting the foot, then rising up to your fullest expression. So that psoas muscle in the front of the thigh, connects to your thigh bone, the top of your thigh bone, goes across the pelvis, then goes deep inside to the lumbar spine. So it's really a deep core muscle and really gets tight from excessive sitting. or it could be overused or a little bit weak. So it's good to stretch it and strengthen it, which we're doing here. And lower down, lower the foot, and pause for a moment. Now we'll just get a little outer hip stretch and continue with the strengthening of each leg as we do this first baby back bend. So now take your one leg. I'm going to use my right foot now. My ankle goes across the knee. With my right hand, I'm going to press that thigh away. Good. So I get a nice figure four shape. My right foot is dorsiflexed. My arms are still by my side. And then I'm going to rise up into a single leg bridge. Cultivate that same length that we did. You know, the pelvis drawing towards the knee. You're staying in that figure four to get the outer hip stretch, which is important as we go into our back bends. And then you're back bending out of the upper back as much as you can. And the bent leg, try not to let that hip drop, so lift it up. Take one more breath here. And then slowly lower down. Release the leg, other side. Good. So find that figure four shape to whatever degree you're able to on this side. And then when you're ready, using the strong right leg, rising up, lengthening through the torso. Breathe in. A couple of breaths. And then slowly lower down. Plant both feet on the earth, pausing here in what's called constructive rest. This is a nice place to go after back bends because you can press your low back into the mat or into the earth and get some support, some lengthening, some neutrality. Okay, so now let's, as I said earlier, it's important to have a strong core for the back bends. So let's strengthen our core and create a little awareness to the front body so that we can move into back bends with some support. So we'll start with keeping your legs on the earth for a moment. Bring your hands into a crunch position. Your fingers can just lightly touch your skull or you can interlace, but keep your elbows out of your peripheral vision. And then lift up by pressing the low back into the earth. And it's like you're lifting your chest towards the sky. You're not, curling, tucking your chin in and rounding your upper back. You're lifting, engaging the upper belly. Hold this posture, keep your thighs where they are, and bend at the knees and extend the legs. Now hold this sort of low Navasana and breathe. You're really reaching through the balls of your feet, so you're activating the legs. Maybe even keeping the inner thighs turned in like I had talked about earlier. And then lower the feet, lower your chest. Okay, let's do that a bunch more times. So this is our crunch, our yogic crunch. So rise up, just a little lift. Extend your active legs. Breathe here for a few breath cycles, holding. And so now we're starting to work the transverse abdominals, the lower belly as we extend our legs. Really, really important in our back bending. And then lower the feet, lower the chest. Inhale, exhale, lift, upper body. Extend lower body, hold. Full breath cycle. Lower the feet, lower the chest. Exhale completely. Inhale as you lift. Exhale, extend the legs. Full breath, inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale, lower the feet. And lower the chest. Inhale here. Exhale, lift. Extend. Breath or two and hold. Lower your feet, lower your chest, and lift, and extend, and breathe, and be happy. And lower your feet, and lower your chest. How about 5 more times? Here we go. And lower your feet, lower your chest, and lift, and extend. Breathe Work the belly. Really feel that you're drawing your lower belly in and lifting your chest a little higher. Lower your feet, lower your legs. 3 more. Lift as high as you can. Extend. Really engage the legs. Maybe lower them a little bit even. Lower your feet. Lower your chest. Lift. Extend. Making sure the low back is on the earth if you're feeling any tugging or strain there, right? So keep the low back flat. You may have to lift the legs a little higher in order to have that happen. Okay, lower down. 1 more. I've really lost count, but this is good. And lower your feet. Oh, lower your chest. Sweep your arms by your sides. Give your knees a squeeze. Pull them in. And you can rock side to side a little bit, make circles with the knees. And then we'll take a little twist before we come to standing. So keep your knees in, bring your arms out like a T. Give a little tone to the belly so you've got some support, and just roll to the right. And then with core strength, roll to the left. And just find some rotation in your spine. There's some core engagement for support. And you're just easing into your twist. Because this could be a deep twist for you, so you'll have to see. So the next time the legs go to the right, keep them there, and maybe rotate your gaze to the left. Now my legs just happened to land on my little bolster, which feels really nice. So if you like, you can always put your legs up on a prop. But try to draw your both shoulder blades down to the earth so your chest is up to the sky, and then your neck rotates in the other direction. Now notice if this is too intense of a twist with your legs up towards the chest, it'll kind of move the rotation to the upper spine. You can always lower your knees a little bit so that you can move the rotation to the lower spine if that's where you might need it more right now. So find your twist for 1 more breath, and then bring your neck back to neutral, engage your belly, bring your legs back to neutral, and then let's go to the other side. Legs to the left, gaze to the right, shoulders down as best we're able. And breathe. Find the position of your legs to, take a nice first rotation here. And now, since your legs are to the left, keep them there and bring your gaze and your right arm along so that you're on your left side now. And then we will roll up. Good, roll up. And come into a tabletop posture. Or if you like, you can even sit back to a child's pose if that might feel nice just for a moment. But transition into your tabletop when you're ready. Okay. And we're going to do a supercharged table today. So your hands are under your shoulders, your knees are under your hips. Draw make like tiger paws, I sometimes call them, where you're pressing the tips of your fingers into the earth, almost like clawing the mat. Draw your hands towards your knees and your knees towards your hands so that it's forcing you to engage your belly a little bit more. And then on an inhale, send your hips to the sky, bring your chest through your arms. And then exhale and round into your cat back. And go back and forth like that. Again, warming up the spine here and firing up the core. So it just teaches us to keep our core engaged in these movements. And in that way, we could even be engaging and working our abdominals as we move in other postures. 1 more. And exit. Good. All right. Now come back to neutral. And then we'll work our core a little bit too through sunbird. So send your right leg back behind you. Try to keep the hips square down, your belly is engaged. And then send your left arm forward, if that feels okay. If it's too wobbly for you, keep the hand down. And breathe. You can have the left top of the foot down or toes curled under, up to you. But feel that, again, you're working your core. You're reaching through fingertips and toes, or from head to toes. Take another breath or two here. And then we want to stretch out the legs. So bend the knee and draw the heel towards the buttocks. Maybe lift your gaze. If you can sweep that left arm around and grab your foot. Because it's important to have the psoas and the quadriceps stretched out for back bends. So let's do that here. Now, of course, if you can't grab the foot, you could grab a pant leg. You could use your strap. It's a little harder to set up. So what I usually say, because we're in a flow, just isometrically draw the leg in and the head up, even if your both hands are on the earth. So again, we make the poses work for us. We get what we need out of it. So the primary thing here is, again, we're back bending, but we're stretching the quad, stretching the psoas. Take one more breath, and then lower the hand, lower the leg, and pause for a moment here. Good. Let's take a knees, chest, chin. We'll do a down dog before we do other side. So remember, with our knees, chest, chin, the inner arms spin forward. So the shoulders go back and your elbows can bend backwards. The hips stay lifted and you bow forward, melting your heart to the earth. So when you come down, your butt's lifted, the chest and chin, and your hands and feet and knees are on the earth. And then pull your chest through into your first little cobra here, drawing elbows back. And then press back up through hands and knees, curl your toes under, and take a down dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, your first down dog. So if you want, you can pedal your feet, grounding your hands into the earth. And then maybe bring that pedaling to a close. And let's pay attention to our legs here. So get a sense that your inner thighs are drawing toward each other and maybe even back. So they're maybe almost internally rotating. But our legs are active then. And then you're lifting your hips to the sky, engaging your belly, heads between your arms. So the legs are active here. Take one more breath, and then come forward, lower your knees back down to your tabletop. Good. I'm going to tuck my shirt in here. Good. All right. So now we'll just go right into our sunbird. So we'll extend our left leg. Toes are down. Hamstring is active. Maybe extend your right arm. Breathing here. Using your core. Always lowering the hand if this is too destabilizing. Take one more breath. And then bend the left knee. Reach the hand back if you're able to. And get the quadriceps stretch as you lift your heart into a little back bend. Take one more breath here. Good. And then slowly lower the leg, lower the hands. Come forward into sort of a modified plank. So you're starting to work the belly, getting ready for Ashtanga Namaskar, knees, chest, chin. Inner arms spin forward, elbows bend back as you melt your heart and your gaze to the earth. And then lower your hips and press that earth away with your hands so you pull your chest through your arms into a cobra. Exhale, lower back down, press up through hands and knees, curl your toes under, downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Again, slightly internally rotating the thighs. Just to find a neutral position with your hips and your legs. Take one more breath. Look up towards your hands. Walk your feet toward your hands into a standing forward fold. Rise up halfway. Exhale and fold. Bend your knees until your belly's on your thighs. Bring your arms out like a T. And with your strong legs, rise all the way up to standing, hands to prayer, and pull the prayer to your heart. Okay. Nice. All right, so let's get our strap and let's try to warm up our shoulders a little bit. So just do something before we go into our standing flow. So this might help with our, with our yoga mudra and things. So you can take your strap and you can have your arms about shoulder width apart. If that's a little tight in your shoulders, you can take it a little wider. So let's see. We're going to try to lift our arms all the way overhead to our back. So making nice shoulder rotation. So you can lift your arms up and then maybe they can go all the way back down. So I just widened my arm position on my strap in order to do that. And as we go along, you could always bring them closer. But let's see how it goes. Inhale, lifting up. Flowing with your breath, inhale and exhale. Grounding the feet, finding the neutral leg position that we talked about, internally rotating the thighs, toned belly, flowing with the shoulders. So let's do about one more. Oh, good, even hold the arms back there, lifting the heart. Good, and then come up and back and down. Then you can leave your strap aside for later, because then we'll take those same ideas into our standing flow. So we'll start with, again, our Tadasana, so grounding the legs, internally rotating the thighs so that we're neutral. The pelvis is neutral, our belly's toned, the tailbone's drawing down just like we did in our bridge pose, so same thing, still drawing down, shoulders up, back, and down. Now let's take our mountain front, into our yoga mudra. And then spin your palms away from the body and bring them up, just kind of like we did with the strap, but now, with our hands together. If that's not working for you, of course, just extend your arms with your arms wide apart, shoulder width or wider. And if you can, press the heels of the hands away, keep your belly toned, relax the shoulders down the back, find length here. And then release your hands behind the back. You could do the same interlace for yoga mudra. Even if you have to, you might have to keep the elbows bent and draw your triceps together, maybe extend the arms. Now, maybe let's turn this into a back bend by letting the hands go down the back or keep drawing, the triceps drawing toward each other so we can lift our heart here. Strong legs, strong belly. And then exhale, bend your knees, belly on thighs, just spill forward, spill forward. Bring your legs towards straighter as you lift the little fist off the back or your arms. Good, you could even use a strap here. And then release the hands to the earth, dangle. Hands frame the feet, left leg goes back, low lunge. The knee is over the ankle. Pause for a moment, squaring your hips, and then lower the left knee down, send your arms to the sky. Knee down, warrior one pose. Now I have my legs kind of at 90 degree, but I'm still feeling a good stretch in the psoas of the bent leg, of the left leg. If you want, you could even send that leg back a little bit more. But we want to try to cultivate that neutral alignment of the pelvis and relaxing the shoulders down the back. Good. With your right hand, take hold of your left wrist. Give it a tug to get long, so you're getting a little stretch on that left side body. And then use the strength of your arms and the tone of your belly to rotate to your right. So now you've rotated, and now bow over to the right. So you rotated and we're side bending. Now you can stay here with your right hand tugging that arm, or you can reach that right hand back and grab your right hamstring and breathe here into this bowing position. Take one more breath. And then slowly derotate, arms back up to the sky, lower them down to frame the foot, and then extend the right leg into our Ardha Hanumanasana. Now this is the first one, so we might want to add some flexion to the foot. And then if you can, dig the heels down, lift the toes up to get more of a stretch in the calf of the hamstring. Lengthen your torso, melt your heart over that leg. Good. Take another breath. And then let's lower the foot, bend the knee, bring the right knee back to meet the left. Let's go into our modified plank again and hold it here, or come into your full plank. So you decide, but feel how this is a core strengthening posture, leg strengthening. You know, maybe even you're feeling it in the glutes and the hamstrings, which we need. As we take back bends and we lengthen the front body, we rely on the strength of the core and the back body to support ourselves and take that nice even curve that I talked about. So however you get down with that, you know, like sort of our chaturanga, or that knees, chest, chin, with the inner arm spinning forward, lower down all the way down onto your belly, go nice and slow. And then keep your hands right there by the chest. Uncurl the toes. Let's do a little cobra vinyasa. So inhale, peel your heart, loop the shoulders down the back. Keep the head in line with the spine. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale, peeling up. And exhale and lower down. 2 more. Inhale, peel up, lifting the heart, looping the shoulders down the back, grounding down through the back of the legs. And then lower down. Now this next time, let's see if we can come up with a little more strength of the back body by letting the hands hover. So the hands are hovering just like the feet were in the beginning. Peel up, loop the shoulders down the back. Exhale, lower down, press up through hands and knees, curl your toes under. Puppy pose is always an option. If you would like to do this instead of dog pose, up to you. And breathe. Inhale and exhale. Good, 1 more. Inhale and exhale. And then let's look up toward our hands. Walk our feet toward our hands, back into a standing forward fold. Good, rise up halfway, exhale, fold, bend belly on thighs, lift your chest, lift your arms, strong legs rise you up. Hands to prayer, and then prayer by your sides or to your heart. Before we go to right to other side. So when you're ready, we'll intentionally try to use the opposite interlace. And if you don't even know what your interlace was, we usually have one habitual way we do things, so just switch your fingers so the opposite thumb and pinky are on the outside. It will probably feel a little awkward. Then you know you got it. So go to that awkward clasp, press your palms outside, turn your palms inside out, arms to sky. Grounding through feet, toning belly, lengthening through the side body. Relax the shoulders down the back. So remember, engaging the core as we start to lengthen here. You can even start to lift your heart if you want. And then release your arms by your sides, behind you. Opposite interlace behind the back, so same thing. But if you have to, might have to switch. Good. And then keep drawing elbows and triceps together. Maybe extend your arms and draw the fist away from the body. Engage the legs, the belly, maybe lift the heart into this standing back bend. And then start to hinge from your hips, bend the knees, bow forward, maybe lift the fist off the back again. And then bring your legs towards straighter, release your hands towards the earth, and step your right foot back. Find your low lunge by squaring your hips, activating the back leg. Take a full breath cycle here, and then lower the right knee down, whether it's underneath your hip or a little back, a little farther back to stretch your psoas. Arms to sky, knee down, warrior 1. Just breathe here for a moment or two. Getting a stretch in that deep core muscle. Maybe lifting your hips, engaging your belly. Good, to support the rotation and the twist that we have coming on. So left hand grabs hold of the right wrist, gives it a little bit of a tug, and then we rotate to your left. So start to rotate to the left, and then bow to the left side. Take 1 more breath here, and then release the left hand down. Maybe you can grab hold of the right hamstring, or just keep your arms extended. Take 1 more breath here, and then rise back up. Back to the knee down, warrior one. Lower your hands to frame your foot as you extend the left leg for our knee down split. You could add the flexion to the foot if it's a little tight. And maybe if you can keep the toes to the sky, dig the heels down, square the hips, lengthen your torso, and then melt your heart over that leg. Take one more breath. Rise up, left knee comes back to meet the right. Hands come onto the earth. Modified or full plank, just for a breath or two. Feel that you're using your core muscles. You're using your arm muscles, but mostly core. If you're in your full plank, feel that your legs are coming into play. You can really extend down through your heels. Everybody, bend your elbows back, melt your heart forward, lower all the way down onto your belly. Uncurl the toes, feet are down on the earth. This time, let's bring our hands out onto tented fingers, kind of in front of ourselves, or maybe a little in front of your shoulders. Good. Your head's in line with your spine, so you're neutral. And then inhale as you peel up and loop the shoulders down the back. And then exhale, lower down. So do this a few times. Inhale, looping the shoulders down the back. So we're sort of coming into an upward facing dog. We're coming a little higher than before. Keep your back body engaged, your glutes nicely engaged, the hip points pressing down. So if you can engage your core as you do this, I know it's hard because your belly's on the earth, but engage your core and lift up. One more time. Inhale, peeling up. Exhale, lower down. Press up through hands and knees. Sit your hips back towards your heels. Puppy pose or dog pose. And breathe. One more breath. Look up towards your hands. Walk your feet toward your hands into your standing forward fold. Rise up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend your knees, belly on thighs, strong legs rise you up. Hands to prayer and prayer to your heart. All right. So let's do our balance pose here before we go into another wave of standing poses. And it'll be a nice quadricep stretch. So especially if it was hard for you to do that in your tabletop, we'll do it right here. You might want to have a wall or a chair for support. Put the weight into your left foot and then pick up the right leg. Let your hand glide down your thigh, your knee, your shin, so that you can grab your ankle and then bring it back behind you. Now, keep the thigh internally rotated. Keep the thighs parallel. Not out here, it sometimes might be hard. So you might have to, again, use the pant leg, you might have to use the strap. Belly engaged, and get that nice stretch in the quad. Some of you may even be able to reach back with the other hand and grab your ankle with both hands, kind of make a little handle, and then even turn this into a little more of a back bend. Up to you, it doesn't matter. The main thing is we want to stretch the quad and the hip flexor here. So that's and the knee. Some of you may really feel this in the knee. So up to you. And then as you go into the deepened standing bow here, you're getting more into the back bend, you're getting a shoulder opener. One more breath. And then slowly release. Okay. So let's try that on the other side. So grounding the right leg, pick up the left leg. Let's bring it behind the back. Even if you have to bring it out to the side, that's fine. But then once you get the clasp, bring that leg back, align the legs. Or bring it back a little more. Nice. Take one more breath. And then let's release. We'll do that one more time, but let's do it now as the entry into our standing flow. So as we begin to stand or come into our standing poses, you might want to have your blocks handy for a pyramid, because we will do a pyramid pose. Check on our time. Oh, wow. Yeah, so let's do that. Stretch one more time. So this time we'll do it on the left leg again, because we'll start our standing poses on the right. So you can pick up that left leg, bring it behind the back, get your stretch, just for a couple of breaths, not too long. And then you can even bend the standing leg and then send that leg all the way back as you bend the knee and send your arms to the sky for your knee down warrior one, your warrior one posture, your full warrior one posture. The right hand takes hold of the left wrist, gives it a tug, and then rotate to your right again. Bow to the right. Stay here or release the hand to the hamstring. Engage the back leg. Take one more breath cycle. Release the arms back up to the sky. Straighten your right leg. Let the back heel lower. Lower your hands. You can interlace on your thighs. You could use your blocks at whatever height, or they could come onto the earth. You decide. But keep the back leg grounded, soften the front leg, and come into your pyramid pose. Keep drawing the hips back, lengthening the torso, and melt your heart to the earth. Take one more breath here. Good. And then lift up halfway, soften the right knee, step the left foot to meet the right, and then with your strong legs, rise all the way up to standing. Now we'll switch our weight into our left foot so we can pick up the right leg, get that quadricep stretch again. No matter where your other hands are, just feel that nice stretch. And then from here, we'll soften the standing leg, release that foot back as we send our arms to the sky for warrior one posture. So the back heel is lifted and engaged. Left hand takes hold of the right wrist. We give it some length as we rotate to the left, and then bow to the left. Breathe into the right rib cage. Maybe lifting your heart a little bit more. Keeping your hands where they are, or reaching the left hand back to the hamstring. Take one more breath. And then rise up, de-rotate, warrior one. Straighten your front leg, plant the back foot. Get ready for your pyramid pose. So maybe your hands are on your hips, interlaced on the thigh, on your blocks or the earth. Back leg grounds, torso lengthens, and our heart melts. Take one more breath here. And then bend your front knee, lower your right knee down, and bring your left knee to meet your right. Preparing for camel pose, for Ustrasana. So if you want, you could take your, we're going to use our little roll in a minute, so you might want to keep it in a roll, but if your knees are aching for support more than, that you're, don't mind unrolling your towel or your blanket, you can do that. We're not going to be here long. We're just going to do one little thing because we're coming onto our belly. So we're just taking our Ustrasana, tops of the feet down or grounded, inner thighs drawing toward each other so they're neutral. You can always put a block there if that feels, if it helps you to engage the legs. Press your hips forward. You're really squeezing the legs, engaging your belly, looping the shoulders down the back, and let your arms just dangle towards the earth as you're lifting your heart to the sky. So I'm pressing my hips forward, squeezing my block, and I'm really trying to engage my core. There's always the tendency to just let that energy just spill forward and overly compress the lower back. So what we can do is, engage the legs, engage the belly, and lift the heart, and find that nice, long, gentle back bend, whatever that is for you. And the arms just dangle and reach back. The head can stay neutral, in line with the curve, or maybe it feels good for you to let your head drop back and take extension in your cervical spine. You'll know. Take one more breath here. And then rise up with nice core strength. Remove your block and just sit here in Virasana. You could even go to easy pose if that's better. It's good to just come to a neutral position after back bends. Sometimes going right from your to a forward fold is a little extreme. So find that neutral position. Just take a few breaths here. Okay, last back bend. Dhanurasana, bow pose. So sometimes when I'm kind of introducing it to people, I'll have us do one side at a time. One leg at a time, that is, clasping. But this time I'm going to suggest we clasp our feet, we do it twice, and we get a little assist from our bolster. We'll lift the chest a little higher for the first one. We'll lift the legs a little higher for the second one. So let's try it. Let's see how it goes. So I'm going to come forward and lay on the bolster. And I'm going to bring it like kind of just under my lower ribs. Right? There you go. So you're kind of in like a higher cobra. And maybe this is enough. You might decide to stay here. That's fine too. But if you can, bring the legs together. We're going to go into dorsiflex the feet. And then you can reach back and grab the feet, the ankles. Okay? And then keeping the legs, they might spill out a little bit. That's okay. But keep them a little bit more neutral. Strong legs. Kicking the thighs back. Engage the belly. Press your pelvis down. Draw your tailbone towards your heels. Lift your heart, space opening in the shoulders, and breathe here. One more breath, and then release the legs, release the arms. Good. Now let's roll that roll down a little bit in our hip creases. So I'm going to move it back so that it's right there in my hip crease. Yeah, right there. Okay. And then you're going to come onto your chin. Your whole chest is down. And then we're going to bend the knees again, but this time we're going to point the feet. Now, if I was really in a high bolster, I would get a big lift here. So you could explore the height of your bolster. Okay. So some of you who are using a proper bolster, you might be getting a really high lift. You might be really on your neck there. So you might like it. It might be great. Okay, so when you're ready, grab the feet. Okay, engage your belly. Lift the thighs. Kick the shins back. Maybe even keep pressing through the balls of your feet up to the sky. One more breath, and then slowly release your legs, or lower your legs, release your feet, move your prop out of the way, and just come onto your belly, maybe your hands under your head, and just come into a neutral place. Maybe give your hips a wiggle. You can always bend your knees and windshield wipe the calves and the hamstrings, or the feet and the calves. And then when you're ready, roll over onto your back and have your strap handy. So come onto your back. Just like we did in the beginning. Pressing the low back into the earth to the constructive rest. Okay, we'll take a gentle twist now. So let's do a single leg twist. So pull the right knee in towards the chest. You can keep the left leg bent or straight. Maybe activate both legs so the toes are up to the sky and you're really pulling that right leg in. And then with your left hand, draw the right leg to the left and send your right arm and gaze to the right. And then bring the leg and gaze back to center. You can give it another squeeze and then release it onto the earth. And when you're ready, other side. Left knee comes in. As you squeeze the left leg in, ground the right leg down. Both legs are active. It's not Shavasana yet. Keep your belly toned to support the twist as your right hand guides the left leg to the right and your left arm and gaze extend to the left. And then let's come back up to neutral. So the gaze and the knee come back in. And this time, let's pull the right knee in to meet the left. Let's reach for our strap and bring the strap on the balls of your feet. And then send your legs to the sky. We're gonna do a Supta Paschimottanasana. So our supine forward fold. So this is really great for the low back. It's really nice and supportive for your low back, and it'll be a good counter pose for all of the back bending. So I'm really, kind of pressing the strap into the balls of my feet so I can extend through my heels. Might have to keep a micro bend to the knees if your hamstrings are really tight, but maybe you can just find an angle that you could extend the legs without locking them out. And then let your hands glide down the strap so that your arms can be by your sides. It's nice and you're broad across your chest again. And breathe here. See if you can also engage the fronts of your legs as you take this stretch to, support the hamstrings. Both the front and the backs of the legs are active. And you're breathing. That feels really nice after all the back bending work. So take one more breath here. Inhale, and then on your next exhale, use the strap to slowly support your legs to come down to the earth. When they get down there, release the strap Open up your legs, let them drop out to the sides. Inhale and exhale here. Maybe lift your chest a little bit so that you can draw your shoulder blades together on your back and you're open across your heart again. Take a big inhale and exhale it out with a sigh. Maybe part your jaw, yawn, give it a wiggle. Just notice if you're holding any tension there. Back bending isn't easy. You know, it's counter to, again, as all of our doings in life, maybe again, poor postural habits, maybe this idea that we protect ourselves emotionally and roll our shoulders forward. So for some people, this may be really, really hard. So let it go. Breathe it in. Let it go. We did it. So we'll rest here for these next few moments. Abiding in this open heart space that we just created. This space of our true self, our true nature. Go for the ride. Not all sections of the road we travel are smooth, paved, easy riding. We may prefer the smooth sections of highway, but sometimes the road gets rough. And the rough section can go on for miles and miles. That's okay. It doesn't mean you've lost your way. It doesn't mean the rough section and bumpy spots will last forever. You're still on your path. Relax, wiggle your shoulders a bit. Get ready. For you just may be on the ride of your life. Don't try to ignore the bumps or pretend that they're not there. Not all roads are paved and smooth. Not all roads are meant to be. Slow down a bit if you need to, but don't stop. Accept each part of the journey as it comes. Let each stretch of your path be what it needs to be.
So allow your breath to deepen. Gently rock your head from side to side. Bring movement to fingers and toes. Sweep your arms overhead, reaching up through fingers and down through toes. Tucking your chin in towards your chest, taking a big stretch. And then release, sweeping your arms by your sides, giving your legs one more squeeze if you like. Then roll over onto your right side, resting there for a moment. And when you're ready, make your way up to a comfortable seat. Connecting sits bones to earth, finding a long spine with toned belly to support you. Draw hands together in the front of your heart and drop your head into your heart. Bowing to that light within. And then let's lift our gaze and seal our practice with an Om and honoring the light without. The divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Namaste.